Two, one. Welcome back to the Brandon K Show. I'm your host, as always, Brandon K, and this is a real show. And I'm here today with my good friend Frank, right there on the screen. Frank. Woo! Welcome, Frank.
Thanks, Brandon. Great to be here.
Today's topic is Come Together, Beatles Best Bangers 3.
Dum, 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 dum.
Well, Beatles Best Bangers. We're just going to talk Beatles today. Frank and I met in Las Vegas. He's way into mindfulness. He's taught me a lot about how to be mindful. But he's also very into the Beatles.
So he says, be mindful of this. Dum, 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 dum.
Which song is that?
Come together, bro.
That's Come to. Oh yeah, exactly. But when do you know Come Together on guitar?
Well, I got the cheater book here, so I could fake through it.
One thing that's cool about Frank is you used to play Beatles covers down in what was it? What's that street called?
Fremont Street Experience.
Fremont Street. What songs did you play down there?
Any. I would try to do requests because, of course, you get a tip for doing a request. And then my theme song is All You Need Is Love. So I would use that as a go-to. And no matter how much they didn't want to look you in the eye because they didn't want to be on the hook for a tip, they would sing the da, 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 da,
as they pass
that
by.
You could guarantee
Didn't tip you.
They'll do. They can't seem to resist. I mean, they're in a good mood. They're in Fremont, so.
Oh yeah, man! Beatles music, spreading the love. What's your view on the Beatles? You like their overall message? You must.
Yeah, I think it was great. I mean, I think it was sort of beyond belief how good it all was. Now, things got a little different in the 70s post Beatles, but it seems to me that in the 60s, the Beatles, were pretty right on, spot on guys. I mean, they were anti-war, but they said, listen, you can't just blow everything up and think that's going to solve anything. You know what I mean? In terms of the internal politics too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being a bomb thrower is not the solution either. I agree with you. I'm anti-war. The Beatles were anti-war. You know what I mean? But they said, don't blow everything up. It's not going to solve anything. Stuff like that. The Beatles had a way of being pretty freaking spot on, I would have to say. Now, in terms of their artistry, great because they really almost continued to top themselves right through the end because the last album is Abbey Road, and in a way, it's the topper.
Yeah, definitely with the Golden Slumbers, that whole last section. Oh, you did that one.
Very good.
Didn't you do that live, or weren't you talking about?
I did do, about 6 of the songs in a row live with a band.
That's so
It
awesome.
was hard. We weren't fully rehearsed. It was 3-part harmony. But
Golden
it was
carry
felt
that
so good when it was over.
At the end of Abbey Road, the what do you call it? The medley at the end of Abbey Road.
Yes.
We
started it with.
Go on.
It ends with the end.
The end was like the last song the Beatles recorded was like the end.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, they didn't miss a trick, It's just such it kills so hard, that album. It's like hard to believe,
Yesterday on the show, we talked about how Phil Spector went back into the Let It Be sessions and like redid it all. So did you like that last album, the Let It Be album?
I thought it was had some really great songs and then some songs that I thought weren't their greatest. I didn't mind the heavy arrangements that Spector gave them because I listened to the album Let It Be Naked, which came out like 30 years later.
We talked about that, yeah.
And I liked it, but I didn't find a world of difference. Like the one thing I liked the best was Across the Universe. John had done some sort of effect with something that was adding like a hum or a distortion or something. And that on Let It Be Naked, I could hear it, and I thought it was wonderful. It was very meditative kind of a thing. I thought it really worked in that piece. But otherwise, I thought they were roughly about the same. And it's funny, songs like Let It Be and The Long and Winding Road, in a way, they're so great. And in a way, they're a little bit too Paul. They're a little bit just lacking that Lennon power, and just a little bit, for me, just don't make it artistically quite as much. And yet, they're both such triumphs, like musically and stuff like that. It's hard to say anything bad about them, you know what I mean? But I don't consider it in the league of Abbey Road. I know, I just never did the Let It Be album. What about you?
Two of Us riding so. I like that song, The Two of Us.
Two of Us is a pretty cool little piece. It is.
I love Long and Winding Road. I never heard the stripped down version. I heard that Paul doesn't like it because Phil Spector added too much to it. But
all right. I mean, it's a big smash hit on the way Phil Spector released it. I wouldn't say too terribly bad about it. No, I mean, seems like it's thrilled people the world over for decades. You know,
I listen to that album a lot. I gotta say that's a good album. Let It Be is a good album. So let's see, Abbey Road, and then you're gonna play All You Need Is Love for us today later.
Now, it's a hard song, and I don't have all the parts perfected, but on piano, I used to at least play it without like a bunch of mistakes. So I suspect it's going to be imperfect, my friend.
What album is All You Need Is Love off of?
It's actually on the sort of B side of the Magical Mystery Tour album. The Magical Mystery Tour came out as a 7-song EP. And so then they put on the side 2 of the album a bunch of like singles, and they're the greatest. There's like All You Need Is Love is there, and I Am the Walrus is there. Oh, no, that's on the other side. But there's another really big one. Strawberry Fields Forever. And Penny Lane.
I can go and do
these monster songs.
I can pull stuff up here on my computer. Hold on one second.
Right.
Let's see, Magical Mystery Tour.
So on the A side, my big winner there is I Am the Walrus. But on the B side, it's got All You Need Is Love, Strawberry Fields Forever, and Penny Lane. 3 gigantic home runs.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, and yeah, sure. Oh, yes. Here we go. You seeing it now? Yes. Okay, now here we are. And we got...
Right, the tour.
We got Magical Mystery Tour, Blue Jay Way, Hello, Goodbye, Baby, You're a Rich Man, The Fool on the Hill, great song. Your Mother Should Know I listen to all the time. Strawberry Fields Forever, I Got on My Arm.
Nice.
Life-changing. I don't know. Living is Easy with Eyes Closed, Misunderstanding All You See.
Ooh, it's hard.
Penny Lane is B-side. All You Need Is Love is B-side. Yeah, really great stuff. How did you get into the Beatles?
I Am the Walrus, the big song from the A side that will live forever.
How did you get into the Beatles?
I had heard from some musician friends in high school that they were great.
When were you?
So I heard from some musician friends in high school that they were. Hey,
what year were you in high school? No, well, I mean, was it the 60s or was it the 70s or 80s?
Late 70s.
Okay.
Late 70s. Thank you.
So they had already, the Beatles had already come. The Beatles had already come and gone, but you were finding them in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. A lot of the heads that were like really good musicians and stuff loved the Beatles, and I had known that. And one night I borrowed the White Album, and I just listened to it myself, and I listened to it about 3 times over the span of a couple of days, and I've been the biggest Beatles fan ever since. And
were your parents into the Beatles at all?
No.
Yeah,
my mother used to play records by like Frank Sinatra and Barbra Streisand and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like before there. Yeah, I got you. My mom was a huge Beatles fan, so I got into them through my mom playing them.
Oh, you're lucky.
And my dad too. He liked them too. So they were, from that era. And
Brandon's parents are cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope my mom's watching this. I think she likes to listen to people talk about the Beatles. I like to talk about the Beatles. You and I like to talk about the Beatles together. Frank and I spend a lot of our time talking about the Beatles. We've had a lot of conversations about the Beatles over the years.
Not enough.
Not enough, but sometimes when we got stuck, like trapped on that main the strip because there was like so much traffic, and I think we just listened to Beatles the whole time, and you just like gave me commentary on all the different tracks.
Oh, you poor bastard. You had to hear all that? Wow.
But I
That
love
guy
it.
is patient, my friends. This was a long traffic jam by Las Vegas standards. And Brandon hung tough because you start playing the Beatles and, well, shit, I don't really seem to run out of things to say that fast.
Because you play a lot of those songs, and then yeah, you do you watch a lot of like the documentaries and stuff on them?
I watch all kind of stuff. You know, I'm on Beatles fan pages on Facebook, and every now and again you see something and you click it. It's clickbait. It looks fun. You click it, and then sometimes it turns out to be a really fun YouTube video. Could be short, medium, or long. Sometimes it's a long Paul concert from like the 1990s or something, you know, and he's killing like Beatles standards and stuff. Yeah, it's almost anything.
Yeah, he's gone on to just like make those songs his own, huh? And like when he goes and performs live, he plays Beatles songs all the time.
A lot of Beatles songs nowadays. I think when he first went solo, he didn't want to play Beatles for a while or something along those lines, perhaps. But now, like not nowadays, he still even tours. It's absurd to think, but uh, yeah, he I think he plays a healthy dose of Beatles and Paul solo.
So when I go through these songs with my friends, I say, which ones are life changers? Which songs do you think are like changed your life entirely? Beatles songs, if any.
I am the Walrus is right up there.
Why? Why I
And
am the walrus?
because I realized that the Beatles are great masters, you know, and this was like a real high point. This should have been like the last song on the side or the last song on an album when you're trying to build up and create the biggest, greatest thing that ever happened or something. And the Beatles were doing something like that, right? Like in A Day in the Life, they did the whole big build up because it was the last song on the side and kind of thing. And so to me, this is like a big song, I Am the Walrus. And they managed to break convention just on its head, bro. Just
Like,
crack open the egg of convention and not follow it.
was it more like musically or more like lyrically or both?
It managed to do both. I mean, you know, even though it's chords that we understand, you know, from when we read the book, still when you listen to the record, you know, you realize that hey, nothing really sounds like this. You know, this is like this is weird music. I mean, but
Expert.
expert choking smokers. Don't you think that Joker laughs at you?
That I mean, all that is like lyrical
These
genius, but
guys,
also like
it's
yeah.
these guys killed it, man. They
See how they
killed
smile,
that song.
pigs in a sty. See how they snide. This is yeah. John wrote these lyrics, right?
That's what I always thought. But you know, it seems they. I think more than was reported. I found out from that Beatles movie. Even in the later years, they worked on shit together. Like if you saw how they came up with the words for um, "Get Back" in that movie, that Peter Jackson movie,
Yeah.
like John was free to contribute every bit as much as Paul was. I mean, they were in the studio playing it, and anybody who had an idea for words, they would write it down.
How does this last
Like
part
I
go?
thought,
How does this last part go?
so
Slave, thou hast slain me. Villain, take my purse. If I ever bury my body. How does that part go at the end? I forget.
"Assist you down, Father bless you," something like that.
Is it? Are they just talking at the end?
No, they're playing the radio.
Oh, okay. It's the radio. So
And
yeah.
they got like the BBC, and the BBC is doing a Shakespeare play.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
But
I
they
don't.
didn't plan that. That was supposedly like live in the studio. They turned the radio on, and that's what it was doing.
I never heard that before in my life. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I got through that whole song, but I mean, if I did, I didn't. I didn't even notice. But yeah, that's a lot of crazy, off the wall, creative stuff in that song for sure.
Yeah.
Like anything's possible. They just said everything's possible. We're going to do it all.
That's what I felt from it. It was very extreme. It was like, look how far we can go. And I was like, well done. Well done.
And, you know, this tattoo on my arm, it means a lot to me. It's the connection between Lewis Carroll and John Lennon. And my mom turned me on to that. She wrote a whole paper on it for college.
Wow.
So, like, the walrus was a character in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he almost writes the same way that Lewis Carroll writes in a lot of ways.
Yes. Very heavily influenced by Lewis Carroll, no doubt.
Yeah. So, I mean, all this is like, this English yellow matter custard. You could probably find some. I mean, I like how he references his own song, See How They Fly Like Lucy in the Sky.
Yeah.
I like it whenever they reference their own songs. I can name a couple of times when they reference their own song.
I like it too.
Right there. See How They Fly Like Lucy in the Sky. I like at the end of All You Need Is Love. You know, she loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
in Glass Onion, he talks about obla-dee-blah, obla-da.
And it also says the walrus was Paul in Glass Onion. So they do like a crossover. Glass Onion's another deep dive we can do right here.
But I would go after I Am the Walrus. I would go to something like Strawberry Fields or A Day in the Life as like number 2, just like home run, grand slam.
Now notice in this is the Glass Onion lyrics. It starts with, I told you about Strawberry Fields. So he's referencing his other song already. And then there's another part about Lady Madonna trying to make ends meet.
Ends meet, yeah.
And the fool, I told you about the fool on the hill. I told you about the fool on the
hill. Got in there. Fool on the hill made the scene. Okay, cool.
Here's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul. So he's referencing his own songs within Glass Onion.
Yeah. Good deal.
And fixing a hole in the ocean. So
right. Fixing a hole.
That's genius when you can reference your own songs.
It's cool. I think some of those are Paul songs too. I think those are Beatles songs in general.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Glass Onion's breaking all the barriers for me.
Right.
What,
who does a song like that?
You were saying some other ones that were life changers for you?
Oh, Strawberry Fields and A Day in the Life. I would put up there in the same shelf as this one as totally blow you away as much as you can be blown away, I should say.
Yeah, and then that medley at the end of Abbey Road, that one is like all these songs
that's up there. It's right up there. That's right at that level, isn't it? Just the whole way through. It's magic. Really, that whole album, the whole second side of that album never stops being magic. The moment the needle hits the plastic.
I used to listen to that with my ex-girlfriend almost every night to go to sleep. Abbey Road.
Swing. Oh, no, I mean, beautiful music.
To go to sleep. No, it's like.
To go to sleep, of course, sir.
Come together.
Exactly.
What about White Album? Do you have any, did you feel like there's some clunkers on White Album?
Not so much clunkers. I would say my favorite is Dear Prudence, which they got to second on the album. So they agreed with me. Let's see. If there's anything, I don't know, maybe some of the lesser Harrison, like Savoy Truffle.
Yeah.
Or is Old Brown Shoe on that one, or is Old Brown Shoe on something else? I feel like there's another. Oh, Piggies. Yeah, Piggies is not at the level, I don't think.
Starts out with back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Glass Onion. I don't know if Bungalow Bill is a hit or miss.
Genius.
You like that one?
Couldn't like it more.
Yoko Ono in the background.
That's okay. She did a nice job. Not when he looks so fierce, his mommy butted in.
I love all these. I'm so tired. Martha, my dear. Piggies. Don't Pass Me By. Here we go.
I love Don't Pass Me By, but I don't like Piggies.
Here's this last side. Why Don't We Do It in the Road? I Will is amazing.
Love it.
Julia.
I love
Birthday.
I love Julia.
Your Blues. Your Blues.
Birthday. I love your blues.
Mother Nature's Son.
Yes, I'm lonely. Gonna die. What's not to love?
Yeah, no, there's a so the deal with White Album. The deal with White Album was they all kind of made their songs separately and then they threw them all together, right?
They wanted it to seem that way, but I think they wrote most of it in India when the four of them were meeting together face to face every day, because they came back from India and they had 30 songs. And I only found out like 3 years ago, Paul was saying they had 30 songs left on their recording contract and they wanted a better deal and they wanted out. And so it turns out that they spent all that time in India when they were with, the Maharishi. And they came back with this boatload of songs they had written while all four of them were together. So I don't know what to make of it now.
Well, they might have been in India together, but I heard
if you look at the White Album.
Oh, they might have been in India together. I heard that they recorded them separately. Like they were kind of focusing on their solo like songs, and I don't know if they came together to record them or not.
Well, Paul had a way of just like him and George Martin were in charge and they'd let you know when they needed you. There was a little bit of that in that era. And so when Paul is recording a song like Mother Nature's Son, where it's only him, no one else is summoned by George Martin. You know what I mean? Paul will take care of the performing. But they did put their pictures separate on the cover, for the first time. Each one was in its own frame of the four guys. Can you put up the cover? They never did that before. So I always took that as a really obvious clue that this was the first time that it was four separate guys.
Right. And did they all kind of have equal amount of songs? Like, I don't know how many songs Ringo got on there.
It seems like too big a clue to ignore. No, it's mostly Lennon and McCartney as always.
Is this it?
Yes, you see the four fellas like, oh no, is that Let It Be or the White? That looks like the
White Album poster.
Let It Be. Where's the White Album? Oh, it's the White Album then. Okay, so that's the inside cover of the White Album. White Album poster. Yeah. So, right, you see how it's the first time that they're not all together in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the album right before it was Sgt. Pepper's. If you look at the Sgt. Pepper's cover right there, it's all about the band. So it sort of made you think, when you look at these pictures, it made you think like it's the four guys. It's the four guys. That's what sort of always came off me about that. But it seems like when it comes to making the song, Paul was the only one who could sort of say, like, I'll handle this. I think everybody else went through a band process to get their stuff recorded. Ringo recorded his written song as a band song, not as a Ringo song.
Yeah, he was a little too controlling and kind of scared the other guys off, you think, or?
Well, definitely George, okay? George used to joke about it after the Beatles. George used to say, I'm ruined now. Paul McCartney ruined me. I don't think I know how to play guitar. I don't think I know how to sing harmony. I don't think I know.
Yeah.
But that was the only relationship in the band where, like, Paul was just like dropping bombs on some poor soul. Yeah, this was George. You can't drop bombs on John Lennon. He writes a great song every other month. You know what I mean? How many bombs you got to drop on a guy? You know what I mean?
But George Harrison was so great, though. When he did get a song through, they were so great.
It took a long time, though, for George to emerge, because only To me, George only has 3 great Beatles songs, 1 on the White Album and 2 on Abbey Road. But those, to me, are the only 3 that are up there with Lennon and McCartney classics. So I think that George's problem was he found the recognition late in the Beatles game. It was already 68 before George had broken through to being at like this legendary level now where the song will live forever on the radio. You know what I mean? Because people are always going to love it, you know?
Right. So yeah. So I was just looking at the track listings. I was trying to figure out which 3 you were going to say for which ones you loved of George's. Well, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, something, and what's the other one?
Gently Weeps.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun.
Here Comes the Sun.
Here Comes the Sun.
You know that one? You know that one
well,
guitar?
Some of it. A lot of it. There's some complicated parts. I'll have to look at the book.
Can we hear a little of it? And now Frank is going to play a little bit.
I know how it goes.
I used to know it on guitar a little bit. It's a lot of.
All right, just give me a second to look it up in the book. A lot of what, sir? I didn't quite hear you. You clicked that. You said it's a lot of something.
Oh, it's a lot of picking. Do 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 do.
I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, that smiles return
into them.
Well, we'll have to leave it there.
It seems like years
since it's been here.
All right, well now.
Boom, here comes the sun.
Yesterday I was on my show. Yesterday I was on my show trying to play I'm So Tired, but I feel like I didn't do it that well. So I'm going to play it again here for you. I'm So Tired, my version.
Rock and roll.
When I wake up early in the morning, lift my head, I'm still yawning. When I'm in the middle of a dream, stay in bed, float upstream, please don't wake me, no don't shake me, leave me where I am, only sleeping. Everybody seems to think I'm lazy. I don't mind. I think they're crazy. Running everywhere with such a speed. Till they find. One second. I'll cut this together later. Hold on. Running everywhere with such a speed. Till they find there's no need. Please don't spoil my day. I'm on the way. After all,
I'm
sleeping.
Oh.
Keep I'm practicing I'm only sleeping. I'm trying to get better at it. What do you think?
It's a beauty, and I think you totally feel the essence of it. It's an exciting piece. I mean, it's funny how it's not that many chords, but it builds and it builds, and it's a really cool piece.
It's
Hey,
a
let me
great
play
piece.
something I think I have memorized.
It's a life changer for me. Yes,
Is
and
it?
now
Is it?
I'm only sleeping for me. First of all, I said this yesterday on the show, running everywhere at such a speed till they find there's no need. That's just like, it's just like slow down,
Right.
focus on what really matters.
Right.
And hey, it might all be a dream anyways. What are we doing here? We don't even know what we're doing. Is life a dream? Or is
right.
everybody seems to think I'm lazy? I don't mind. I think they're crazy. They're trying to rush you. They're trying to tell you what to do, and you're just like, you're the crazy one. I'm just living my life. Why are you rushing me? So I like that about John, keeping an eye on the world going by my window, taking my time. I feel like it's a like slow down and chill song.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
But very melodious, and very recognizable. You know, it has that Lennon and McCartney recognizable melody.
and Frank, he asked to come on and sing a song for us. Are you going to do your song now? All You Need Is Love?
Well, I'll give it a little try, people. All you need is love. I'm going to give it a little try.
And I'm going to try to join him on this.
It's easy. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. No way you can be, but there's no way you're meant to be. It's easy. Nothing you can do that isn't known. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is. Whoop! I forgot about that part. 3, 4. All you need is love. All you need is love. Go ahead, all together now. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. Moving on now. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need.
All right, well, I think we said it all. I'm going to make this one a little shorter than the rest. Brandon K Show is brought to you by Giftiply, eco-friendly charity wrapping paper. Thank you, Frank, for joining me. We will have to do this again sometime soon. And Brandon K Show is every day in March.
Thank you, buddy.
So we're going to be doing these every day in March. Frank, I know you're subscribed and you comment on my videos, and I appreciate it. And I'm always happy to get together with you and talk about anything because you're an awesome, awesome dude.
Well, thank you so much, Brandon. You know, and I reached out to Brandon and I said I wasn't feeling so good. And the next thing you know, he said, let's do a little podcast. And I think he was being a little charitable and saying, here's an old fellow who could use something to look forward to. And I want to thank you for caring, Mr. Brandon.
I'm always happy to talk to you. Let's end it there. And we'll see you next time.